Welcome back, guys. I was muted. But thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. I know it's a little earlier than what we used to, but we had to because we had to help out the twin Herps all the way from Italy, be able to have them online on live. It's already, I think, already 11 o'clock their time, and it was supposed to be 10, but they switched their time zone as well. I think yesterday or the day before that. But they showed up and they were going to do the podcast tonight. So, guys, how's everything going today? Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, hit the membership if you guys want to join the YouTube membership. We got pretty cool perks, and we're going to have some membership only videos releasing here in the next week or so. So, what's going on with Clover's Reptiles? So, it's been a couple, I think maybe 3 weeks now. We only had one podcast last month because I was on a family trip last week, so we didn't get to do a podcast, and we moved it to this week. But like I said, we have twins, Herps, Simone, and Marco, all the way from Italy, and they're twin brothers that I found them through Instagram because they have some really cool Western Hognose, and they have some other species that I'm interested in as well. So that's what we have going on tonight. And then what else we got going on in Clover's Reptile? So next weekend, we are in NARBC Dallas, Texas. So we're going to be vending our first NARBC. So if you guys are traveling out there or in the Dallas area, make sure you guys stop by our table, say hi, check us out, pick up a hog nose or pick up some Clover's Reptile swag. We're going to have some shirts and just come talk reptiles and hognose with us. I know Friday there's VIP interest from 2 to 7 while the vendors set up. So if you guys are interested in that, come out Friday. We'll be setting up Friday afternoon. It's going to be very interesting because it's going to be our first long haul, long distance, what's it called? Reptile show. We've done, a couple hour drive here in Florida, but we haven't had to like ship our animals and then fly and ship our displays and all that other stuff. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge and learning process. And I'll probably gonna record the whole process and what it takes to be able to what's it called, vend out of state, shipping your animals and your displays and all that other stuff. So we got that going on. We also have a sale going on our morph market right now. So make sure you take advantage. A couple people have already today. So make sure you guys go on after the show. The link is below in the description and check out our morph market. We got a handful of stuff already. We have eggs already too. We have, I think, like 5, 6 clutches. So decent start to the season. There's some good and some bads, but you can't always get 100% success on this, and you got to take it with it what comes. What else we got going on? Other than that, that's pretty much it for the next week or so. Next Tuesday we have another podcast, and we have Chad from Ship Your Reptiles coming on and talking about his passion about the hobby and his business and with Ship Your Reptiles. So now let's get to the early birds. Let's get to people that are here and here to support us and Twins Herps. What's going on, Ken? LMK Reptiles, thanks for joining in tonight. Dustin, as usual, thank you for joining in. You've always been a big supporter. Bosa Reptiles, what's going on, bud? Thanks for joining in. Another South Florida supporter, part of the V unit. TNA Snakes, Anthony, thank you for joining in. Thanks for joining in here and supporting us. JNS Exotics, James Perry, thanks for joining in and supporting us. We have Joe D from Meteoric Serpents, and he is actually my co-host with on the Trap Reptile Network. I gotta get used to saying that. Every other Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, we have a podcast. Thank God it's Colubrids, and last week was our first one. It was a hit. We had a lot of interaction, so make sure you guys check that out. This Friday, it's JMG Jr., Jeff Gailwood on, and then the week after will be us on again. So, like I said, make sure you guys check us out there and let's talk colubrids and stuff like that. More colubrid content that goes out into the YouTube world and the podcast world is the best, because that's what we love. Mission Morse, what's going on? Semper Fi, another supporter. He's a fellow veteran as well, so definitely supporting. Go follow this guy, especially if you're a veteran. He started a post the other day that I really enjoyed, and it was, basically commenting your Instagram profile on the post if you're a veteran, and it helps other people support veterans and veterans support veterans within the reptile community. So I'm always, pro veteran since I am one myself, and my wife as well. My wife is also a Marine, so we're a Marine household. So like I said, we're gonna get to this before we bring on the guests. We're gonna do a quick video of our partnerships and sponsors. Sea Serpent Rack and Incubators is the official sponsorship of Clover's Reptile and Scale Success Reptile podcast. If you're looking for a PVC rack or incubator, make sure to check them out. We've been using their racks for the past 2 years, and it's a great product, and they have great customer service. Now let's mention our partnerships. Reptilinks has partnered up with Clover's Reptiles and Scale Success Reptile podcast. If you want to feed a diverse diet to your reptiles, make sure to check them out and use Clover to get $5 off your next order. If you want to take your husbandry and record keeping to the next level, make sure to take advantage of the free 30-day trial with our link in the description below, or scan the QR code on your screen. Husbandry Pro has helped us keeping track of our breeding plans, our hatchlings, and overall just keeping us organized with all of our reptiles. Make sure to use shipyourreptiles.com to receive or ship your reptiles, and use Clover's 15 to save $15 off any one shipment. Big shout out to our sponsorship, Sea Serpents. We have Sea Serpents racks in our room, and to all our partnerships. Anything that we are recommending to you guys, I have used for the past 2 years, and I really enjoy it. I wouldn't recommend anything that I don't personally use. And there's some success with all those products and companies that we mentioned on that quick video. So without further ado, let's get the guest out here. Welcome, Twins Herps. How's it going?
Hello, it's fine. And you?
Good, man. I want to start off by saying thank you for joining us on this, this podcast. I know it was a little bit coordinating, took a little bit, but we figured it out, and we're here, right?
Yeah. Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's one mission I've had with this podcast is not just bringing people from the U.S., but bringing hognose and reptile people from all over the world. Because reptiles are not just specific to one country; they're all over it, and it brings people together.
Yeah, and also if you think that we work mainly with American species, so it's nice if we talk with Americans about how we breed American species. So
that's a very good point for sure. Yeah. So we're gonna start off. It's Simone and Marco.
Are
Simone you guys?
Me, Marco with me. We are twins, but don't look very similar if you look carefully. But at first sight, we may look similar. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So another interesting thing about you guys, are you both veterinarians?
Yeah.
Wow. Was that something from like a young age that you guys, wanted
it's just
to do?
like from young age we both loved animals, and we both loved strange animals. Like we were always in the garden catching lizards and snakes and just putting them in. When you're a kid, you make a lot of mistakes just in small aquariums just to see how they move, how they hunt for crickets and insects. And then with age, we just bought the first bearded dragons, first leopard geckos, and that's how everything started. And then during the years we kept a lot of different species, and just in the last 10 years we focused more on snakes and especially on hognose snakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 10 years for hognose snakes is a
Yeah,
pretty
but at the
long time.
beginning it was not that very large scale.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we started when it was not on Vogue. I don't know how to
when
say.
hognose were not so popular, we started, and it was
And in
like,
Italy, almost no one wanted them. So
Yeah. That's very interesting that you're saying that, you guys started like at the beginning of the hognose, right? So you have
yeah,
grown with the hognose popularity and community.
yeah,
yeah.
Um, so you guys have some very good, some very interesting point of views and probably stories and things about the hog nose and how you got them and all that stuff. And we're gonna get into that, right? So, guys, if you guys support the channel and want to support Twins Herps, make sure you guys drop a super chat like Bosa Reptiles has. If you guys have any questions you really want answered about their animals or anything like about the Italian reptile community, make sure you drop a super chat. Um, and make sure you guys hit the like button right now. It seems like we're low on the likes right now, but we have a good amount of viewers. So yeah, so let's get into this. So right, when you guys now you're veterinarians, do you have your own office or do you work for someone?
Well, actually, at the moment, since last year, we are not working as a
Mhm.
vet anymore because of the first reason was lack of time. Because especially during spring and summer, you know that we usually get. Last year was like, let's say, 800 babies hognose, and so it's like a full-time job. And when you are a vet, you also have a kind of a responsibility with other people, and so you cannot say, I don't know, I'm not going to work from, let's say, April to September.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that's the main reason why we just quit the vet job itself. But
Okay.
as you can imagine, we always have a lot of job with our animals to do. But we practice as veterinarians for almost 2 years, and we were working just with the reptiles in a small clinic that is like 20 minutes far from our place. And it was not our clinic, but we were like respon- the the responsibles for reptiles there. Yeah.
Okay. That's very cool how you do it. You did practice veterinary medicine with reptiles. Um, did you go to school specific for reptiles or is just with experience and a little bit of
No, because actually in Italy there is not a specific specialization after your graduation. You just have some certificates that you can
Mhm.
get, but they are all about all kind of exotic animals. So they include also small mammals like rabbits, rats, and also birds and other exotic animals. Is for something very specific, you have like the European College of Veterinary Medicine, and it's another kind of program to do. That's
Mhm.
the only specific for reptiles here in Europe.
Okay.
yeah. But
So
in the last few years, they also Italian universities started to do some programs that are out of the university. They call um,
Reptile experts to talk
yeah.
about reptiles,
mm,
but it's just like for a week, not so much. So
gotcha.
basically, we had to study a lot by ourselves, and we also with the experience and I mean a lot of things combined.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. And I know sometimes with Europe, the schooling um times or like high school and stuff is a little different from American.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you guys to get your veterinary license or degree?
Yeah, if you go straight, it's like 5 years,
Okay.
but usually you always need at least 5 year and a half or 6 years, because exams are always a lot, and you
Mm.
usually need a bit more time than 5 years. But it's 5 years, yeah.
Okay. So about same similar to US too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anything like that really like you enjoyed while you're going to school for the veterinarians that you still think about today?
Well, for sure, I liked most like the subjects that were more into like biology. I don't know, like
Hmm.
zoology exam, like for example parasitology, because there were a lot of Latin names, and I know that you in America prefer like common names, but in Italy we always use like Latin names because it's like we do.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just something different that I noticed from between Americans and Europeans breeders, and I also loved the I mean the scientific way of looking at my reptiles. It's not just saying this reptile doesn't look good. I
Hmm.
always wanna and am able to know what is wrong usually. That's
Yeah.
something good, that even if I'm not practicing anymore, it's something that the university helped me a lot with, that knowing why an animal is sick.
No, I think that's very important, and because we got to be able to understand our animals that we're breeding, and in case of emergency, we need to have some kind of knowledge, right? Because I don't know how common are reptile veterinarians in Italy?
No, not common at
Not
all.
common, right?
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Same thing here in the U.S. is probably a little more common, but still, it's very hard to find a good veterinarian, like exotic reptile veterinarian. Um, I've heard about other European countries that people are having hard times taking their reptiles to veterinarians, and you've probably have seen it too through like the group chats on Facebook and all
Yeah,
that stuff. People are people from like Spain or other European countries are asking about like medical advice
advice.
and
Yeah,
stuff like that. That's got to be very hard when you don't have anybody in a driving distance to take your animal to. In that sense, would you do you have you any books that somebody that's breeding reptiles you will recommend to read that has good information about reptiles?
you mean medicine books?
Yeah, any medicine book or any herpetologist written book.
I mean, there are some books, but most of them are specifically medicine books.
Hmm.
So if you don't have quite good basic knowledge of medicine,
It's,
it
it
can
can
be
be
useless.
confusing. Yeah.
There are some nice books, and I mean, there is one about like parasitology, but if we talk about hognose, I would not recommend a single book in particular.
Hmm.
If you mean about reptiles in general, there is just like a book that is called like the Holy Bible of the reptile, that is the mother medicine, mother
Hmm.
reptiles of medicine reptile, and it's an American veterinary mother,
Okay.
Mm.
Mader, and it's a
Yeah.
good book, but it's a medical book.
It's a medical book. So you need to
Yes,
have some kind of basic knowledge
yeah, at
Yeah,
of
least
medicine and biology.
a small basic of biology, and yeah, that's
yeah.
why
The,
I
the,
would
the
not.
first part of the book is about taxonomy and
Mhm.
about taking care of reptiles, but it's less than 20% of the book. I think less, maybe 10-15% of the book is the.
Like husbandry and things like that.
Okay.
The rest is pure medicine, like radiology, like internal medicine, and things like that.
All right. Yeah, that's interesting. Um, so have you guys ever thought about putting a book together and stuff like that since you have, veterinary knowledge and have been breeding, especially for hognose, because there's not many, like you said, there's not much information or like scientific information about Western hognose out there.
So I mean, especially in this last period, I thought about writing maybe not a whole book, but like a, let's say, a guide, a small
Mm-hmm.
guide book. But then I wouldn't be able to choose if you're doing it in Italian or in English. So maybe in the next year or so, we're gonna do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can
Yeah.
happen. I'm honest. I thought about it many times,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
just about
So
Pokemon snakes. Yeah,
yeah, I don't know if you know Herp and Harbins, Alicia and her husband. They're also veterinarians, along with her father-in-law, Tom Harbin. I guess this is the
yeah, yeah.
manager.
I know him by name. Yeah,
Yeah. So these are the book that you were mentioning.
yeah, yeah. He wrote the correct title
Hmm.
of the name of the book. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, I had them on the podcast too, and they had really good insight as well. But you guys differ is that they are practicing like non-reptile, so like what's it called, cats, dog,
yeah, yeah.
veterinary,
Small animals. Yeah,
small animals. Yeah,
yeah,
correct. um you know, you caught me by surprise that you said that you guys stopped practicing to go full time with the reptile world, because you think about being a veterinarian after so many years of school, time, money, that you would keep doing it, and then
yeah,
reptiles on the side. But you guys went the opposite route.
yeah. Because in Italy, it's actually the opposite.
Okay.
Because if you work as a veterinarian in the private practice, usually you're not so, you don't get that much money
Mm-hmm.
in Italy. The situation is not the same in all the part of Italy,
Mm-hmm.
but basically it's like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So if we had to choose, we chose for the reptile breeding part, to get bigger with reptile breeding and to quit with the practice of veterinarian. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I know we had spoken, I had put Rome, Italy. You guys are not specifically located in Rome, Italy. Where are you guys located?
No, we are on the other side of Rome.
Okay.
Like Rome is on the Tirreno Sea, and
Okay.
we are on the Adriatic Sea. It's
Okay.
exactly on the opposite side of Rome. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
The city is called Giulianova, but it's a very small city. It's
Okay. Gotcha. So, with growing up, liking the strange animals, the different animals that, your friends at school didn't have, how was that with your family? Um,
Well, at the beginning, especially my mother was not happy with that
mhm,
because she has a kind of inner fear about reptiles. Because in here in Italy we have like the culture of the snake as the symbol of devil. I
mhm,
mean, like the age of my grandparents are like, if you see a snake, you kill the snake
yeah,
because it's evil.
yeah,
It's like that. With my parents' generation, some of them are already lost this kind of old believing, but some of them still have. I mean, with my generation, we start to see reptiles and snakes like other pets.
mhm,
So at the beginning, it was not so easy, but I have to say that my parents had helped us a lot. I
that's
mean, at
good.
the moment, we are still living at my parents' home, and we got all the basement for our reptile breeding. So I cannot say that my parents are not happy with my job.
But when our mom discovered our first snake, she didn't talk us for 2 weeks. I think so.
But it was a long time ago, like 12 or even more years ago, that we got the first snake. So
Gotcha. So how old are you guys now?
we are gonna turn 32 years old in June. We
Okay.
are
Who's
31.
older?
Eh?
Who's older?
Marco is older,
Me,
Marcos. Okay.
15 minutes older than me.
Wow, that's good. And so what was that first snake that your mom found?
It was a false coral snake, milk snake,
Hmm.
Lampropeltis nelsoni albina, and we still have him. in the other room. Yeah,
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah.
he's like for 13
Yeah.
years old now. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, with what did like what sparked your interest in reptiles? Was it a show or was it just being outside and finding these
Mm.
animals out?
We, I mean, how we got so interested? You
Mm-hmm.
mean? First of all, outside we were like
Okay, guys, it looks like we lost them for a little bit. Um, guys, while we're waiting them to come back, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a super chat if you guys have any specific questions that I maybe not cover, or that you guys have seen about their animals like that. Drop a super chat. Let me see if I can get them back on and off. Looks like they lost their connection. Okay, you guys back? There we go.
yeah.
Uh,
And I was telling that first of all, we got interested when we were outside, and then when we went to the local pet shops, they always used to have like a small green iguana or a
mhm.
small bearded dragon. Our first ever reptile was a green iguana, and
Okay.
the second one was a bearded dragon. Yeah,
Yeah. My
that's
first
how.
reptile was a green iguana also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the worst first reptile you can have, and that you can suggest to anybody as a first reptile. But they were
Yeah.
cheap, and all local pet shop had at least one or even more.
Yeah. I'm 35, so I think within that time range,
Yeah,
too, that was like a very popular reptile in the reptile shops and pet shops. But yeah, and similar to you guys, my mom is definitely afraid to this day of snakes. And when I had that iguana, I had to keep it under my bed in a glass tank. The green carpet and stuff like that. The
yeah.
very old school. Really crazy to think about that. You know, so and then where did it evolve from there? You had that one snake. Well, you had the green iguana, then you had snakes, and then did
Now
you
that
just
we have
start little by
like
little?
green iguana, then bearded dragon, then the female for the bearded dragon, getting small bearded dragons. Then we kept quite many different lizard species in the past, like ocellated lizard, like small Leiocephalus. Like also we kept and breed crested gecko, gargoyle geckos, like also leeches, but leeches we didn't breed because they were still young when we sold them.
With the jeweled lizards,
Mm-hmm.
Timole.
Timolepidus.
Uromastic species, we kept
Mm-hmm.
some uromastics, we kept some chameleons. I mean, during the years, we kept a lot of different species. We also kept tarantulas and breed them like when we were fifth, let's say 18 years old. Let's say 18 years
Mm-hmm.
old. Yeah, some amphibians too. And then with the first snake, you know better than me. Snakes, especially colubrid snakes, are easier to keep
Mm-hmm.
if you compare them with lizards. You
Yes.
can put them in the rec system and they do well,
Mm-hmm.
and so you buy one and then two and three, and it's an escalation. It's very
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah. Yeah. The maintenance, feeding and stuff like that is less than the lizards and stuff. So you can definitely, like you said, keep more and still be able to maintain a good quality of keeping
But we
them.
still keep a very large number of lizards now too. We don't post them that much because they're just more for fun, but we keep like armadillo lizards, the Gird lizard, the African and South African.
Mm-hmm.
We have like 7 of them, like 3 different Egernia species, like Corucha zebrata, the monkey tail skink. We also have like a pair of tokai geckos, like
Alcides.
some
Yeah.
skinks, we have like at least 10 different lizard species at home.
Yeah. One species that I noticed on your page, reptiles, is the monkey-tailed skink.
Mm.
Um, those are on my list of having as well. I think they're very cool. They're like, they're very prehistoric looking. So
Yeah,
those are really cool to have.
that's cool. And it's 2 years in a row that we are breeding them. Last year we got 4 babies, and this year 2 babies. But they're not so hard to keep, to be honest. They just want fresh vegetables every day and not that
Okay.
much more.
Wow.
They love mulberry leaves.
Mm,
Mulberry,
okay.
yeah. During
Yeah,
the summer,
mulberry leaves. Yeah.
mulberry, yeah.
Okay. So they like the leaf better than the fruit, or they like both?
No, they need more leaves. They need the
More the leaf.
fibers.
Hmm. Very cool. I was gonna say, so one interesting thing you said about in Italy using the scientific names of the reptiles. Um, I have Meteoric Serpents. He also has a podcast called Clover Corruption, and we were talking about that on our podcast we do Friday night. That in the Clover world in the U.S., more people do use scientific names, are more familiar with the scientific names than other species in the U.S. So you'll be able to get used to more with be able to communicate easier with Clover people in the U.S. through scientific names because they actually take the time to learn them and really research them and stuff. Um, so through all this, um, like I said, I found you guys because of the hognose.
Yeah.
What made the hognose your primary species?
Okay, can I-
No, perché l'Inasius?
Because when we first saw an hognose snake, we just loved it for the nose, especially for the nose and for the scales that remind like the scales of a viper in a kind of sense, and we just loved it. We got first a normal one, wild type,
Et albino.
and then an albino.
Mm-hmm.
And then from then we got like first anaconda at albino that at the time was very like, I mean, quite expensive. We were also very young. We were not working, so to buy a reptile we had like to sell 10 small bearded dragons to buy just one high-end hognose. At the time, like anaconda at albino was quite high-end.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Around what year was that? Do you remember?
it was like
2050? 15, maybe?
2015.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
2015. Almost close.
2015.
Yeah, it's close to 10 years ago. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. To think about, where like you said, like the anaconda, the albino, and where we're at today with the morphs.
yeah.
So did you import that hognose, or did you get it from a local shop or a local breeder in Italy?
Dall'America l'abbiamo preso niente, no?
No, direttamente no.
No, we directly never imported anything from America, but we actually have some animals coming from Dan Abbey,
Mm-hmm.
and one from Jeff,
Okay.
and I think no more.
No more.
We then bought from mostly from European breeders.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that first set of hognose, the het albino, the anaconda, it was from a
They were
European
from-
breeder?
Yeah, from European breeder. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's very interesting to see how quick it moved, because I know, around that time those genes were still new to get to the European market and reptile breeders and be able to sell. It's been moving pretty quick. Um, do you said you last year you hatched 800 babies? That's hognose or a mixture of different species?
No, hognose.
Hognose. Wow.
Yeah.
That's definitely a lot.
Yeah, and with other species last year was like 1,300s.
Mm-hmm.
Only if you talk about snakes, of course, colubri snakes. Yeah,
Okay.
because we also have quite big number of corn snakes too.
Hmm. Yeah, it seems like there's a big, still very big community of corn snakes in Europe. Still, people are still very interested in them in Europe.
Yeah,
Where here in the U.S., I feel like they, little by little, people are moving on to other colubrids from the corn snakes.
and
Um,
what are you focusing on in the US now at the moment?
I mean, Western hognose, the main
Yeah,
things, the rat snakes. Those are, I think, two very big colubrids species that are very widely available, and people are starting to get into more of the breeding process. Um, when did you guys think about actually breeding snakes? You know, you were keeping them, but when did you say like, okay, let's breed them and make more snakes?
from the beginning, when we
Okay.
first got the first snake, we said, uh, I mean, we don't like to keep them just as a pet.
Hmm.
I mean, when they are like old, we just keep them as a pet. But from the beginning, we always love to see them hatch. It's something that we've always loved to see new life coming to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But we decided to increase the number during COVID. We were at home 1 day, 2 days, 2 days, and we said what we can do. Let's start to breed them more and more.
Yeah, yeah. You had a lot of
so
free
we
time.
yeah,
So,
we started getting bigger in 2020, bigger than we already were. So
okay. So, like about 2019, about how many animals you think you had then?
people, I don't know, maybe we just got like 50 babies that year.
Oh, wow.
I don't
Okay.
remember. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was
So
not that many.
yeah, but it grew really fast then from
Yeah,
2019, 2020 to now it grew very
yeah,
fast.
yeah,
Okay. So yeah, so you guys were like, this is it. We're all in and we're going to breed the
yeah,
reptile.
yeah. That's it. There is no gray for me, white or black.
Yeah.
I don't have middle.
Yeah. You know, how is it having, your twin brothers? So how is it that you guys, basically support each other with all this stuff? It's got to be really, really interesting.
Yeah, but it's also most of the time is also a bit difficult because
Mm.
sometimes we fight with each other because we have very similar ideas about keeping, breeding, and things like that. But we have two different minds. So I want to do like that. No, it's better to do like that. And so sometimes we fight, but it's
Yeah.
good. In general, it's good. We share a lot of things. We also have the same passions outside of reptile breeding. So basically, our relation is good. We just used it to fight when we were kids, but kids always fight. So
For sure, yeah. Siblings, yeah, brothers, sisters,
yeah,
brothers always fight for sure. You know. Was there, did you guys have your favorite species when you guys were younger? Like when you were getting into a hognose, was it okay, together we're gonna get into a hognose? Or was it one person liked hognose and the other person liked something else?
we were both on Hognose, but like
Mhm.
for example, Marco likes more corn snakes than I do.
Okay.
But I said, okay, if you like them, let's do corn snakes too. I mean, if
Okay.
it was for me, we were still more likely only on Hognose.
Mm,
I like them too, but I wouldn't have put that many investment and energies on corns.
yeah.
Now I like them.
Okay. So yeah, so Jungle mentioned something too, and I miss bull snakes are becoming very popular here too. Do you guys have bull snakes?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
we are getting now into bull snakes, but we have like uh, maybe 5 or 6 females ready this year,
Okay.
and the next year there are gonna be more.
Okay.
So yeah, we're getting. You mean the Pituophis catenifers, right?
Yes.
The bull
Yeah.
snake, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We have like patternless ones, albino patternless, Accentic patternless, snow patternless, and albino white side, and
Hmm.
a lot of interesting things. Most of our females are already gravid because this
Okay.
year we decided to breed a bit later than last year because we just went in a herping trip in Australia at the beginning of January, so we
Hmm.
needed a bit more time of rest this year.
Hmm. Um, One of the biggest question I had for you guys was, 'cause like I said, in other European countries, I know that there's certain laws starting to be passed against reptiles, against rear fanged and snakes and stuff like that. Is there anything like that going on in Italy that you guys have to watch out for?
Actually, in Italy, there are some forbidden species to keep,
Okay.
but it's since a long time. It was in 1996. There was a law about dangerous animals, and they put inside this blacklist all the viparid, the
The lapis. Uh-huh.
lapid snakes, and two colubrid species, but just South African species like Telotornis and the boomslang.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put all the crocodilians, the
Okay.
two snapping turtles, the retic pythons, and
Varanus.
the Varanus species. All the Varanus species we are not allowed to keep.
Okay.
All the rest we can keep,
Mm-hmm.
but now in this last period, it's gonna. I mean, theoretically, it had already had to happen, like something about the keeping reptiles, because at the moment they're not very. It's not very clear because they're not considered as pets,
Mm-hmm.
but not as exotic animals anymore. Because a lot of people said my snake must be considered as a dog,
Okay.
but now they're gonna change the laws about keeping them. Then maybe they're gonna put some rules about the size of the cages, and everything like that, because at the moment there is nothing about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, basically you can keep them how you want, and nobody can tell you anything because you don't have anything written that tell you how to keep them.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were
Uh,
expecting it for the end of March, but it's not
okay.
issued
Yeah.
anymore.
So are you guys hopeful? Like, is it a positive thing or maybe a little bit of negative or both? You think?
I mean, I'm positive because we already wanted to do like a professional breeding center, because at the moment we are just like professional sellers.
Mm-hmm.
We like have a VAT number and everything, but just for selling reptiles, because we were not able to register our breeding facility because there is no. I mean, if you don't have anything that tell you if you do like that, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot do it in that way. And so
Right.
for us, it's better if they make this law, so we can be 100% okay, because it's our main business. I mean, for small and hobbyist breeders, that can be for sure not a good thing. It's gonna be a bad thing, I think,
Mm-hmm.
because
Because
then
they're gonna
they.
have to meet the big breeder, the professional breeder standards.
Yeah, but if
Yeah.
you consider that for dogs, if you have more than five breeding females, you must be a professional breeder. Imagine if it's the same for snakes.
Yeah.
Basically, all the hobbyist breeder must be
Well,
professional breeders.
yeah. Do you think that regulation and stuff is going to require for you to have like an actual freestanding business, or people are going to still be able to do it like you guys are doing out of your house?
Maybe you can do it in your house,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to like to declare to write and to declare that this local is for keeping reptiles and not for living. It must be a separate place from the living place.
Okay.
I mean, for sure, people will not be allowed to keep snakes in the bedroom anymore
Okay.
if this law is gonna come out. Yeah,
Wow. Yeah. So that definitely would change a lot for, like you said, the
yeah.
hobbyist breeders and stuff. Yeah. We have something similar, at least in Florida. We have FWC, the Fish and Wildlife
Yeah.
And every year I have to renew and apply for my commercial seller's license, and to be able to sell to the public and display in the public. And in that package, you have to draw out, like myself, I have it in my house. You have to draw out the space, basically the setup of that you have in your snakes, and also draw like put a emergency plan in case there's a fire or a hurricane, what you're doing with the snakes and how you're moving them and stuff like that.
Yeah, but at least we have something there in the US. We don't
Correct.
have anything like that here.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, and then some people would think, you know, and there's different things, ways of thinking, right? Some people are really against, having any kind of regulation. And then there's people that are for regulation, in the middle. And then you have also, right, the extreme of, regulating too much, right? So it's I think a very tricky balance. Um,
Yeah,
I
but
I'm on the side of regulations, but most of the times, and let's say always, people who are supposed to make those rules are not real experts.
mhm,
That's why sometimes it's better to say it's better to have no regulations, because if
yeah.
they're made wrong, like we cannot keep all Varanus species, and some Varanus are like that and are considered dangerous, and then you can keep iguana, you can keep tegu lizards. It's
Mhm.
not smart regulation, I mean.
Yeah, yeah. No, and it's very interesting because at least here in the U.S., um, we have we have federal law, then we have states, and then sometimes there's county and town laws. So you got to be able to figure out every layer of it.
mhm.
Yeah,
As I was mentioned, I'm going to Dallas, Texas, to go and vend, and last year and the years before that, it will be Arlington, Texas, which is like 20 minutes west of Dallas. So in Dallas now there's an issue because the city of Dallas has an ordinance where you can't have certain boa species, python species that are bigger, and or animals that are bigger than 6 feet or more. So there's a lot of reticulated pythons, Burmese python breeders, bigger boa breeders that aren't going to be able to sell their animals because now the show is in the city limits,
yeah,
to where even Kenyan samboas are not allowed. And like
yeah,
you said, Kenyan samboas are very small boas, you know. Um, so like you said, sometimes these laws are very old or are made by people that just don't know,
yeah.
you know. Um,
And that's
you
the
know,
biggest problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So with like people like that, right? That are they're either just misinformed, to have just go by what they hear, on that friends or family members have told them about snakes and reptiles. Have you ever had any friends or family members that are like that? When you, especially now that you're doing this as a full business.
Mm.
Can you repeat the
Yeah.
question?
So you know how like the people that are making the laws aren't informed of the
Yeah.
correct information. You know that do you have any family or friends that are when you have told them that you breed snakes, they're like, "Oh my god, snakes," or have a negative mind about it.
Mm, I mean, not all the people that we know how many snakes we have.
Mm,
A lot of people think that it's like a hobby for us,
mm-hmm,
and even if they know how many we have, they don't think it's a real business. And
mm-hmm.
actually, I don't even mind letting them know. But of course, if they ask, I don't have anything to hide, because if not,
Yeah,
I mean, if you talk with us and they ask me what's your actual job, I always say I breed snakes, but I don't think it's like a full-time job.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, my relatives and friends now accepted the idea that we breed
mm-hmm,
snakes, but they always tell, like you said before, like, why you're not vet anymore? You have your small clinic, you have your
yeah.
patients, you like. They still think that being vet is better.
Yeah.
for us, because you studied a lot all this time, and but they actually don't know that also our studies helped us a lot with breeding snakes, how we do now. Yeah.
No, I totally get that, man. And I'm pretty sure anybody that's breeding reptiles professionally at some point, especially when you start it, you know, all over the world, probably get that reaction from people, right? Like that's not a real business. That's not, they're gonna make any money. But then it's very interesting, when sometimes you show, the triple recessive hog nose how much something's worth, right? And you people are like, there's no way somebody's gonna pay that money for a hog
Yeah.
nose, I think that's very very funny to see the people's reaction to that. You know, um, and talking hognose, um, how many? You started your breeding season already?
But yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
are waiting for the first eggs at any day now.
Okay. Do you guys brumate? You
Yeah,
do. Okay.
yeah,
So
we do.
tell us a little bit how you go by brumating over there.
Yeah, we always do like a natural hibernation for hognose, because we have a cold room
Hmm.
where we can open the window. Because don't ask me why, but I'm first of all, I would need a lot of space to put all these dog nose, but I always prefer to go with the natural cycle of temperatures. So sometimes it happens earlier and sometimes later. Like last year was very warm here, and so we were able to put our dog nose in hibernation just in late December.
Okay.
It was too hot, and so we always leave them empty for 2 weeks, leaving the temperatures normal. Then we start to lower like for 2 to 3 degrees Celsius every 5 6 days. It depends.
Hmm.
And when we lower till like 20 degrees, and we move them in a first room where we have like 15 degrees, then we
Okay.
leave them there for like, let's say, 10 15 days, and then we move in the coldest room that is like ranging from 10 to 5 degrees Celsius,
Okay.
and we leave them there for 2 whole months.
No. For 1 month, you said?
No, two.
2 months. Okay.
So the whole process is like 3 whole months.
3 whole months. Yeah, yeah. With the little bit of grade, downgrading the temperature. So, I mean, 5 Celsius between 41 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That's very interesting because at least for myself, the coldest I go here, and I do with a refrigerator, is 50 degrees. But I also have friends that live in areas where it gets cold, like yourself, where they just brumate the whole room, and they've had sometimes even like the water bowls freeze because it gets really cold. Have you ever had anything like that similar?
Once when we were very young,
Hmm.
we were out for some months with the university, and then we left Ognos to a friend, and it was very cold. There was also an earthquake that year,
Mm.
and so all the house went off with lighting and warm, and I think that they reached zero, even below zero at the time, because he had in a,
Celsius.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I
So
said myself, well, I'm very sorry, but they're gonna be dead for sure.
yeah.
But they were still alive.
They're still alive. Yeah, it's an amazing species how they're able to hold that cold and still survive. That's another thing too when I'm educating people about Western hognose and they don't know much about snakes. When I tell them, oh, I always tell people that don't know about snakes, these snakes hibernate. And they're like, there's no way. They're probably they'll die if you put them in a refrigerator at 50
Yeah.
degrees.
I
Um,
never lost a single snake during hibernation. Never. Never
Never.
a single one. No,
Okay.
never.
What substrate do you use for brumation?
It's that's the same I use for like keeping them. It's let's show them.
Is
I
it
have
a
it's called lignocell. It's a
lignocell?
very it's used for mice lab.
Okay.
It's very soft.
Okay. So like
Yeah,
very
so that's
fine
the small
aspen
tips to
similar.
use for. Yeah, it's very similar to aspen, but it's very soft.
Okay.
I don't know if you have them in the US. It's
No,
very
I've heard it from other European people, but we usually either the main thing it's what's it called? Aspen, um sandy chips,
yeah.
and then cocoa core, sand and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Those are the three mains that people have him on. Um, you ever get any issues with like dehydration and stuff like that on that aspen? I mean, on the linosil through
No, I
brumation?
also don't no because
Yeah.
I think that you get hydration problems if you keep them in the fridge. You know that fridge usually the removes moisture from the environment. And
Hmm.
so I just heard about problems of dehydrated snakes from people keeping them in the fridge. You have to pay attention just in that case, because as I say, in the room where I keep them, I just leave the window open, and it's not a dry place here at my where I live. Just during
Gotcha.
the summer, during the winter, it's even quite humid, so I never had any problem
Okay.
with that.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Because I think with the refrigeration, it causes removes what's it called?
You mean?
uh Humidity, yeah. So I've heard with some people, I use moist cocoa core and sand to brumation, because it helps with the humidity. But I think with the refrigerators, it definitely pulls out all the humidity. And some people I've seen that get very dehydrated hog nose, or even maybe lose hog nose because of dehydration
Yeah.
of that. you
And do,
know
do you hibernate with the water balls or not?
no, no, just
Yeah.
the most cocoa core, yeah. Yeah.
We do the same.
Okay, so no water bowls.
No,
No.
because in the first years when we had very few snakes, it always happened that at least one throw the water ball, and it was always a mess because you cannot
Hmm.
keep them in the most, of course, for two
Hmm.
months or so.
Yeah. You ever have any like respiratory infections or stuff like that with them dumping the water and being in the cold?
No,
Yeah.
because actually we always, since we are all the day here, when just Hognose throws the water ball, we always, and maybe they can have like humid substrate for like maximum 1 day.
Hmm.
Then we are always here to clean.
Hmm.
But I've heard of people that had skin problems or respiratory problems because maybe, I don't know, let's say you are out for the weekend and you leave on Friday, and on the Friday morning the Hognose throw the water balls, and then he stays or she stays for like 3 days totally
Hmm.
humid. That can happen for sure.
Okay. Yeah. And touching a little bit on like your experience with veterinary medicine and reptiles. um you know do you think you get a little bit of an edge, or a little bit of more of experience when, because if something's wrong with your animals, you can treat it yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you imagine if what would if you had to take it to a vet? What would you guys have to do in that situation if you weren't able to treat it yourself?
In which case, you mean?
Like if you weren't veterinarians and stuff like that, you think you will be able to find veterinarian, like a reptile veterinarian close to you?
Yeah, I used to bring the animals at the vet where I actually practiced.
Okay.
It was the first one that but at the time I only had like tortoises and turtles, and
Okay.
when they got sick, I always brought them to that vet. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. And then we had touched on this and stuff like that, and I know you guys get probably a lot of questions on recommendations on medical recommendations and stuff like that. And what's the usual questions you guys might get with Western Hognose?
The most asked one for sure is, I just bought this small log nose at this reptile show. and is not eating since 2 days. And
Yeah.
so I'm honest in the last year. I like stopped not answering, but I just stopped helping because I cannot give you a medical suggestion via web.
Hmm.
It's not correct. It's not ethical. It's not professional.
Hmm.
And also consider that I'm not doing the vet anymore. So theoretically, I'm not even allowed to do that. Let's say, but
Okay. I was, yeah.
even if I will do that, I don't know where you got the snake. I don't know how you keeping the snake. And
Hmm.
most of the time they say, I saw you at the show, and I go to the snake from the other person, and I always say, let's ask to the other person how he was or she was keeping the snake,
Yeah.
even if the snake was eating with any kind of sand, even if the snake was eating.
Hmm.
I mean, you know better than me that with baby hog nose, most of the time is better to know the feeding history of the animal.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And
So
I use Husbandry Pro, and I love it because if somebody buys, especially online, and I'm shipping out the snake, I'll
yeah,
email them the history, all the information, so they have the information. They can easily review it instead of, like you said, texting back and forth and the little bit questions here and there. I can just send them all that information at once. You know.
because I cannot know if you buy a snake and the seller tell you the snake is eating correctly, and then the snake maybe actually didn't never eat by itself, and how
Hmm.
can I know that? So
Hmm.
actually it's not that I don't want to help, but if I think in a medical way, I cannot help you if you tell me from 1,000 kilometers I my snake is not eating. Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
that.
No, I get it. Yeah, and I've had some similar situations, and at shows especially, that just a regular pet owner that is not really into the reptile world will come up to us and says, "Oh, I love my hognose, but it's not eating or it's having this problems. Can you help me?" Um, you know, I tell them the basic, and I have a little care sheet that I give
Yeah,
with when people buy my hognose, and I tell them, look, here's a care sheet. Try to follow it. If this still doesn't work, then you need to contact who you got the hognose from, or I'll get an answer. Oh, the people aren't answering me. You know, and it's unfortunate. I actually had a person that I saw maybe 2 or 3 times within like the South Florida reptile shows, and most of the time, they first time they came was that situation. Yeah, I've had a hognose for 4 months. It's not eating. Okay, give
yeah,
him a quick, like I said, give him the guide, take it out. Next time I saw them, yeah, nothing worked. My hognose still not eating. That third, I think I saw them in February at another show, and this was maybe from like September to February. Now, their hognose had passed away at that moment,
yeah.
and they went and bought a hognose from me, and they said, we want a hognose, and we're gonna buy it from you because you did take the time to give us some information where the other person didn't. You know, and it's sometimes very simple like that. Um, what would you say to like people that are just in general, breeding reptiles and not, establishing the babies well? Do you guys have any tips on establishing picky hognose eaters?
Well, I just got like one from 2023 started eating quite well now, but it
Mm,
was the last one. Sometimes I'm honest, I actually don't know what to do. Even if we have a lot of sense,
mm-hmm,
once I also brumated baby snakes.
mm-hmm,
I had two that were not eating like 3 years ago, and one of them started eating after brumation, and one
mm-hmm.
didn't. Sometimes, you know that they're not natural rodent eaters, but sometimes you actually don't know what to try. Sometimes I also tried like sheds from some lizards, and
Mm.
a lot of different things like canned tuna, natural tuna, mackerel, sardines,
Salmon.
salmon,
Salmon.
like natural salmon. Sometimes even if it's not natural, like smoked salmon, eggs,
Yeah.
a lot of different things. But for the first times, I always prefer to make them a bit to leave them with hunger at the beginning.
Hmm.
Maybe for the first 15 days, nothing,
Hmm.
because they then start to be more curious and to go around. Because if you always start from the first week, then it's like you always trying like every day, and I always prefer to wait at least, let's say, 12 or 15 days before trying to give them the first meal. Of course, it depends how I see when you hatch a lot, you see if they hatch, let's not say big, but with yolk
Hmm.
reserve inside them. If you see the belly is full, for sure they're not gonna eat. Or if
Yeah.
they eat, it's just for tasting. If they
Hmm.
start to be more hungry, they're gonna eat easier. I noticed that.
Yeah.
First of
Yeah.
all, I always try the unshanded pings. Then you will always try to brain the ping.
Or boiled pinkies
Boiled
sometimes
pings
work
sometimes
well.
work.
Or
Boiled
sometimes they
pinkies.
prepare. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Boil,
never
yeah.
heard it. Yeah, I've never heard of that one.
You just microwave some
Yeah.
glass of water, and you put like the pinkies for, let's say, 1 minute, not more.
Hmm.
When you see that they get like cooked,
Hmm.
they like get cooked, then
Yeah, they get
you,
white instead of the pink color. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes they like that, yeah.
And
Okay.
sometimes they prefer the sands, but aged sands. When you freeze and
And that,
then refreeze them, they prefer it when it start to.
to rotten a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. The stronger smell,
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah.
they are strange animals. So
They are. And I think that's one thing that makes breeding and establishing, like breeding, having eggs, it's not that hard with hognose.
yeah,
It's after those babies hatch and sitting there and trying to make them feed, man. This last year was my first year breeding, and I had 100 and something hognose, and there were some nights that I would just sit there and look at it. It's like, why won't you eat today, please?
yeah.
it, it becomes
Sometimes
stressful.
it's a night now that we all, I mean, like 90% or even more are sold, and we all have all our keepers. Keepers are all eating straight without stands. It's like, how is it even possible if we thought that June or July of last year that we're all, you like salmon, you like tuna, you like mackerel, you like sardines, you like trout.
Yeah, yeah. You need to
Yeah,
have a buffet for them.
what we saw compared to corv snakes, for example, I think an ogno snakes takes you more than the double of the
Uh,
time.
to clean and to get to feed well. Yeah, they also make a lot more of dirt. They
Hmm.
also roam around a little, very pretty much more than corn snakes. So they throw substrate in the water bowl, and
They poop a lot.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
if they eat one time, they do 4 or 5 poops, small poops.
Hmm.
A horse snakes do one or at least 2 poops, and then it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that, and especially, feeding those day old pinkies, it's all water. So when they poop,
yeah,
it's water they're pooping
it's,
out and
well,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, so there's a lot of cleaning, a lot of maintenance and stuff like that. And do you feed twice a week for like hatchlings, or you feed it once a week?
depends.
Depends.
Because when you have a lot, sometimes our best is to try every 5 to 6 days,
Hmm.
because as I said, when they have to get established, it's for us it's better if they get used to the food and
Hmm.
not that they grow at the beginning. For me, in my opinion, it's better if they maybe if they stay with the hunger at the beginning, but they get to know how to eat.
Yeah.
This one
Yeah.
is food.
Okay.
So if you give them like two times every week, it's like you just need more time and the more pinky mice.
Mm-hmm.
If you give them every 6 days, maybe they're gonna eat every 6 days, and they're gonna get used that when you open the tub, they get food.
Yeah, I agree.
And I noticed that.
Yeah. Like any many reptile species and snake species, you know, their metabolism, their bodies aren't made to eat on a very strict schedule every day, every 3 4 days. So I think, like you said, the little hunger sometimes is a little better. And what's called with where do you supply your mice from? Is there mice breeders and stuff like that, or do you guys have to do your own?
We have a small, let's say not small, but like 300 breeder mice, but it's not enough for us.
Hmm.
And we buy from an Italian online store mice that we
Okay.
need.
Okay.
But till last year, we were able to produce all the pinky mice that we needed by ourselves. This year, I don't think we're gonna get able to.
Mm.
But our breeding was focused more on the producing the pinky mice
Yeah, because
for an economical reason.
yeah, I was talking to a friend recently where a day old pinky, a regular pinky, and like a peach fuzzy, they don't cost too much of a difference,
No,
and they're very expensive, especially when you're feeding all those
yeah,
babies. Yeah, I think that's a very smart thing to breed for the pinkies rather than for the adults. Yeah, yeah, they're very very smart move there. Um, and then and you do the mice too at your location.
yeah, but we have a different place outside of the
Okay, like,
breeding.
hmm,
Yeah,
gotcha. Okay.
it's outside of the home. Yeah.
Hmm. So with all the babies, the holdbacks you have, your breeders, the mice and stuff like that, what's does your work day like your work week look like? How many hours are you guys putting in?
Sometimes during the summer when we have babies, let's say in July,
Hmm.
we often work like 12 hours every day.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Monday through
And
Sunday.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we are true. Sometimes it can happen at whenever a free day, one of us, but
Mhm.
it's not so common.
But
Yeah.
during the summer, we have no holidays at all.
Okay.
And sometimes people don't believe that. And I
Yeah.
always say, you can try to come at my place and see that I
Yeah.
don't have enough time.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about maybe hiring an employee and stuff like that to help?
We thought about that,
Hmm.
but I'm always afraid that then I would not like the way that
Mm,
person can work,
yeah.
and then we are quite picky about that point of view. So I
Yeah.
always prefer to spend more time myself to get an employee. Maybe next year we are planning to move in a bigger place, and if we're gonna get bigger with the business, for sure we're gonna need someone to help us. Yeah, that's for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But as
Yeah.
said, at the moment it's not even clear the law situation. So I don't know how to hire legally someone now at the moment. Even
Gotcha.
if I
Okay.
will do.
Gotcha. Yeah, because so you don't have an actual company where you could hire somebody under the company yet to be
Yeah,
able to. Yeah, that's difficult. That's very difficult to figure out.
it's like
Yeah.
I'm a store now. I have a
Hmm.
store to sell.
Hmm.
I'm not registered as a breeding facility at the
Hmm.
moment,
Okay.
so I cannot. I would need to hire someone like a seller at the moment.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's I think that's very interesting on not knowing exactly what's going to happen in the future just yet. But it seems like you guys are very sure that this is what you want to do and this is something for the future. Because if not, you probably instead of growing, you would probably be like some people might be reducing their collection because they're worried of what's going to come, right?
Yeah, because we found out that we actually like this job,
Mm-hmm.
even if sometimes it's very, I mean, let's not say tiring, but sometimes it doesn't leave you time at all to
Mm-hmm.
live your private life.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that for the next at least 5 or 6 years, we're gonna work like that. Yeah. At the moment, it's something I like because we experience it the vet job. That's
Mm-hmm.
what we studied, and actually I prefer that job.
Yeah, that's really cool to do. And they were still within the same world of animals and stuff like that, but you like this better. And there's nothing like working for yourself either. Being able to do things like you said, like you like them the way you like them. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
that's also another reason why I like that, because there is nobody like I have no boss, just my reptiles are my bosses. So
that's right. Yeah, yeah. When they're hungry, you gotta feed them. Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and you know what? I have the same mindset where I'm a very, if you can see behind me, everything's labeled in very specific place and stuff like that. So I'm very specific on how I like to do things. I'm lucky that I have my daughters are into the reptiles, so they help. Especially my teenage daughter, she helps a lot, and they'll come and clean and feed animals and stuff like that. So like when we grow, they're gonna be there to grow with us and keep going and doing this.
That's cool.
I
Yeah,
have the same idea as you guys is little by little keep growing, and hopefully this becomes a, like I said, like a very big, not very big, but like a very professional operation and stuff like that.
actually at the moment your main uh, public in terms of market is like in the USA or also outside of the USA? You sell
um
domestic.
Yeah, so my main thing has been domestic. I've been trying to work a little bit with outside the U.S. and some exporters in here and there, but it hasn't happened yet. Just trying to build those relationships. But I want to do both. I want to do domestic here in the U.S. and and all over Asia, the European market and stuff like that. The only thing I seen with the European market is that our U.S. prices are way higher than the European market, at least for wholesale. So that's what I've gotten the feedback a little bit on the European side, where Asian market are still willing to pay. Yes, they want a discount, but they're still willing to pay a little more premium um, than the other stuff, than the other countries. What about
Yeah,
yourselves?
yeah. Actually, we sell like, let's say, 1% in Italy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the rest
Okay.
is like let's say 10% Europe, and the 90% it's all to Asia at the moment.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. That I was gonna ask you that. Like, what was the percentage? Do you do shows as well too?
Yeah, but we in the last year we're not focusing on Italian shows anymore,
Hmm.
because in these last years they started to we started to have too many reptile shows in Italy, and that's another hot topic at the moment. A lot of people are like
Starting their own
fighting
shows.
to each other, like telling, like putting reptile shows in the same days to see,
Hmm.
to split the public. Like when we started, there were just like three reptile shows every year
Yeah.
in all Italy, and now there's like 20 or even more.
Hmm.
Sometimes two reptile shows in the same weekend, and especially in the last years they started to be too much like family events, and always way less to the, I mean, how do you say, specific reptile
Yeah.
meetings
Enthusiasts.
meetings
Yeah. More
and that's the
more
reason
like
why.
more like almost like a petting zoo than
Yeah,
actual people coming to buy reptiles and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
and it was not that. I mean, now that we mostly produce animals, it was not the main reason I'm not going there anymore. Attending Italian reptile shows. It was not for not selling snakes, because I liked the friends, people. It was just for the environment itself. It was like I don't know if you have them in USA, like especially during summer we are like fairs with food, people, like
Hmm.
small place for kids.
Yeah.
It started to look more like that to me
Okay.
than like a professional environment. That's the reason why I'm not going. I didn't mind at all selling snakes and like getting money at the Italian reptile shows.
Yeah.
I also liked a lot when small kids came at my table. I like the snake. I wanna buy one. I wanna
Mhm.
keep one. And there was the dad telling, "No, let's ask him how you keep the snake and things like that." But now in the last 2 to 3 years, we focus more on the. I don't know if you know, the Ham Reptile Show is the biggest show in
Yeah.
Europe. It's in North Germany, and we go there like 4 times every year,
Okay.
and then sometimes in Netherlands, because it's also a place where you usually ship reptiles from, because there
Hmm.
is a big shipper company in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. And
Yeah.
so we go there, ship reptiles, and we attended the show and we advertise a little bit our animals.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've heard about the ham show a lot. That's also on my list that I want to do one day. Go to the ham show.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
it's cool.
yeah, go out
It's kind
there.
of a rush, but it's cool.
Okay. It's
It's like from
is it two
no,
days?
just one day
One
from
day?
like
Oh man.
yeah, and it starts at 10 a.m. and it officially closes at 4 p.m. But at 2 p.m. it's already done.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's very interesting too. There, that's very quick. Have you ever traveled to other than the ham show to like Asian shows or other
No,
country
we
shows?
never
Not yet.
did. We
Yeah.
would love, but I don't know how. I mean, I think it's quite complicated
Hmm.
with the plane and things like that. But
Yeah.
maybe also an American show. We were dreaming about coming to US, to one of the US show once.
Yeah. That would and bringing your animals or just coming to check it out.
Yeah, yeah. If I come, I bring my animals. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
At least few of them.
Yeah. For sure. Um, talk about your animals, man. One of the animals that I think you get a lot of attraction is your sunburst
Yeah,
stuff, and because it's very red. Um,
yeah.
how did you guys get to, producing those very red sunburst?
Actually, the original lineage was from Dan, as I told you,
Okay.
and then also our good friend, and I think you know him, Master Rogs, also from Italy.
Okay.
Yeah, he just like took 1 year of rest for his personal business, and
Hmm.
we got some nice animals from him.
Okay.
But actually, the lineage was from Dan Abbey, and we were lucky. I'm honest that we were lucky enough to get some very nice red animals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Because I've seen some, that yeah, you get a little more of the reddish orange tints. But your sunbursts are very, very bright. Tom Harbin has very bright sunburst. So I think that you guys are very comparable. Do you have one that you can show us so
yeah,
we
yeah.
can see what we're talking about?
Alhamdulillah. I can show you the an adult male is
Hmm.
proven breeder from 2 years now in a row, and it's very. I mean, it's very red, but also is red is deep. It's a
Okay.
very deep red color because, as you know, the the sable gene gets darker and darker. So
Hmm.
combined with albino, the red gets deeper and deeper.
Hmm.
So that male was brighter when he was young, but now he's getting like a darker red color.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah, I'm gonna put you on solo here so you can. Yeah, that's very deep reds. I see, and even the belly has
Yeah, even the belly, yeah,
has some
it's
very
quite
deep
red. Yeah.
colors too. Yeah, that's really
And
cool.
I'm gonna show you also his best baby from this year. That you see actually is even brighter than the father.
Yeah,
It's like this one. This one is the baby. The color is brighter, but I think it's gonna get like darker and deeper with age.
hmm do you have any big sunburst female from that lineage?
Yeah, yeah. We also have a lot of. We like
Yeah,
kept. I don't know. Maybe 10 females from last year. I'm gonna show you also some
yeah. I
females.
I would have too if they look like that.
Marco is gonna bring some females, and we also have some nice anacondas. But you know that when there is anaconda involved, since you lose a bit of pattern, it's not
hmm
so easy to keep the color red that intense. I think we have that one is a quite nice red male anaconda. But you see, since there are spots and then there is some
Yeah,
skin without spots, the red is not that intense.
yeah, yeah.
That one is actually a very nice super conda. So
Super.
now the color is not so good with this lighting.
Yeah,
Maybe under the sunlight it would have looked better. But this one, the mask is actually quite red in color.
yeah.
And
So do you prefer um anaconda, super anaconda, or no conda genes?
mm, well, this is a gravity female in Prolay shed now. This is just
Wow.
albino.
Yeah.
But you see, even if she's in shed, she's very, very red.
hmm That's
And
beautiful. Okay.
she's also at for sable. And we paired I don't remember if we paired her with the sunburst male, actually.
Okay.
Also to change blood because she's not related to that sunburst male.
hmm Yeah. Where
And
that lineage, that female, you produced it, or is it from somebody, from a breeder, from another breeder?
that one we got her as a very tiny baby from Mattia Master Rogs. This one.
Master Hogs. Okay. That's very, very nice red lines. I like that.
Yeah, that reminds me. I don't know if you remember the red animals that the Jellen snake had in Europe. We lost them during the years. I don't know why.
Mm.
If you look on Facebook for Jellen snakes, she very nice red animals like this one. Like
I'm
you
gonna have to look
cannot
that up.
imagine. You cannot imagine a more red animal than this when you saw that. It's like it's not possible to get more saturation.
Hmm.
And talking about if I prefer conda or not, the answer, if I talk about my personal point of view, if you wanna get intense red without conda, no, like normal pattern is the best.
Yeah.
But since you know that in the market also requires conda and super conda and they're more valuable, I also have to produce the other stuff for the market, and those, so here are two very nice female. This one is the most red female we got with conda, sunburst anaconda. This one.
Okay. Yeah, that's
And
very
she's
red.
very red.
It's
And those,
it's even to the sides, and the background is red.
yeah. And this one is with no conda, but she's also very nice.
Very cool. Yeah. With the genetics, what's your favorite morph to work with?
I mean, we at years ago we were like quite popular for coral genetics. We have quite stuff with corals too. We
Okay.
also produce like I think Aslin also produced one, but we have one lavender sable albino anaconda here. I can show you, but I don't think it's gonna.
Yeah. Do you have it
You're
on
gonna
your
get
Instagram?
color. Yeah, I think I have this. This one is sable lavender albino anaconda. So it's basically sable anaconda. And this one is a coral for comparison, but it's not to see on the webcam for sure.
Yeah.
This one is coral and this one is stable coral. But from if you see them live, you see one is the sable gene involved, especially when you hatch. Like we did this year, we hatched like I don't know how many hundred sables, and we noticed the difference quite quickly when it hatched from the egg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Edison produced one. And and I was looking at your Instagram, and this is pretty cool because it's not the normal, right? And it's let me see, let me share here. The paradox coral.
Oh yeah, we have it here. I'm gonna show you.
Yeah, I think that's very cool to see.
And he's getting more and more of those black and like golden spot here.
Mm-hmm.
You can see them also on the belly. It's like some golden spots. They look like
Some golden. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
also on the neck, on the face. Yeah, it's very cool. Sadly, it's not something that you are able
can reproduce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some people try to breed paradox animals, but it's genetics. So
yeah, it doesn't happen. I get it. Yeah.
we also have another animal that hatched last year. I'm gonna show you.
Yep.
It's quite strange. I don't know if it's gonna what is gonna happen with these animals. Kind of sable that hatched with a lot of white spots. We showed him in some stories.
Okay.
But I think I also made a post. It's very nice because it's some white spots, and they're gonna this here a very big one spot, white, totally white. You see on the belly too.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share it here too. So, because the video is a little hard to see, but it's this guy here, right?
Yeah, that's one. But now it's more white.
There's more.
Spots. Yeah.
Okay. So this is very interesting because I don't know if you followed I forget the Canadian they're from Canada that had the hognose that was a normal, and now it has a white head and it's brown.
Yeah. I saw that one.
So it's very interesting that we're starting to see almost like pied hognose little by little.
Yeah, that would be like a revolution for the hognose morph market for sure. The pied.
Yeah, it would be.
We need more. Now the latest gene is like the Swiss chocolate, but it's of course it's a melanistic gene, so it's like a kind of different sable. So I think that if anything really different would pop out, it would be a very revolution for the hognose morph, I think.
Okay.
Now that we finish like all the combos with the Swiss chocolate, and the creator is already quite far with the combinations, we need something different to move the market, the enthusiasm again.
Yeah.
For the hognose.
Yeah. That's what we're missing. We're missing more pattern morphs. That's what we need in the hognose. More things to work with the pattern and stuff like that. Um, like you said, if we find something that's actual pied ball that we can, reproduce, it's going to revolutionize the hognose
Yeah.
world. And what's it called? And whoever has that, I hope they release it. Yeah, they get their project, established, but I hope they release it to the world, to the hognose world, than just keeping it, because then it'll help everybody, right? Different projects. You said, are you working with the Swiss chocolate?
We have just like a small profit babies growing, not something. We didn't invest that much in Swiss chocolate yet
Mm-hmm.
at the moment. I don't know if we're gonna buy this here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know actually, because I said it's not. Let's say I have to like the morph first of all,
Yeah.
and if I have to make it just for commercial purpose, maybe I'm gonna buy it, because of course I breed dog nose, and it's like you must have all the morphs at your place. So maybe I'm gonna do that for this reason. But
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
see.
You got to
This,
have a little bit of everything, right?
yeah,
Um,
we just don't work with like caramel, or because then it's too much stuff.
so you don't work with caramel, the caramel gene?
No, we don't have caramel or hypo. No, we don't
Or
have.
hypo? Wow. Okay.
We
Was it
have
just
we have
because it's
a lineage of caramel and so on. No?
I think yes.
I think that is a lineage of caramel that was made from Longitano. It's called Savannah, but it's like a kind of caramel, I think.
okay? I know what you're
I'm
talking
gonna
about.
I'm gonna show you. Just the bell is a bit different from a normal one, and also the pattern, but it's not something very very special itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And what's it called? Jeff Galewood is actually coming out with a pattern morph this year. He's been working on something that he's going to release. I think next month.
Jeff,
Yes. Yeah.
he has a new morph.
He has a new morph. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I didn't hear that. This is
Yeah.
the Savannah. You see the belly,
Okay.
and also the color is not. I mean, you see, it's not a wild type, but I'd say it's something very special.
Mm-hmm.
We have some dark Savannah albino. Let's see if with albino makes something cool. They're in now. Let's see
Okay.
if it's at something cool. Maybe we're gonna combine the Savannah with other genes. We just make
Gotcha.
it a try.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on? I know you have leucistic stuff. Do you enjoy that project, or do you think it's maybe it's gonna not go away, but it's gonna go down in popularity?
The Swiss, you say?
No, leucistic.
Leucistica, it's a single gene, so we produced some last year. For the first time, we kept one male, because we kept a small group, but some customers asked us for them, and we finally sold them, and we produced some double het albino and leucistic, just to have the chance to produce the red-eyed Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
But we actually sold all the adult breeders of leucistic projects, because also one friend of us asked to sell them, and we sold them, because it was like something we produced the leucistic, and it was like done for us.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it's not like I'm trying to look down on the leucistic gene, but it's very one way, and that's it, right?
Yeah, it's nice to see. It's cool. I think it's gonna be very popular when it's gonna be like $100 or $200
Mm-hmm.
priced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then it's gonna be very popular, I
Yeah.
think.
Even if it gets down to like, at least in the the US, even if it gets down to $1,000, I
Yeah,
think
but
it'll be
in the
very still
US,
yeah, it'll be
in Europe down.
yeah. What is a Swiss I mean a leucistic going for right now in Europe?
Depends.
Okay.
You know that in Europe we have the biggest leucistic producer in the world in the Netherlands. You know Michel Klumbers, no?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It depends. It depends if you want a female. How much was this year? I mean,
I think at the end of the season it was like 1,500 euros a single
Euros.
female.
single female, yeah.
Yeah. So close to
I think what.
$2,000, something around that.
um,
Yeah, and the conversion close to about $2,000. Okay. Yeah. I was looking on your Instagram right now, and I saw this Arctic sable. Um, that thing is very nice.
yeah,
Um,
she's almost she's an adult now,
okay. It's very green. I like how
but now she's not very green like that.
oh, she's not.
No, not like that. A
Okay, so
little-
she lost a little bit of color.
We have something that is more green, or an Arctic sable anaconda at
Hmm.
Toffee Belly. This one is actually quite greener. Yeah, I'm gonna show you. It's yeah, that one is greener actually. I don't know if you see them on the webcam
A
now.
little bit, and it has very nice like olive colors, right?
Yeah,
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 Yeah.
that one stayed green. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
yeah.
nice.
This one is
Also, this
also
one is very green. It's a sable. Talking about the green sables. This one is very very green. If you see it
Hmm.
by person,
Hmm.
that one is a sable anaconda. 66% that for albino and lavender, and it's very nice. We kept him because it's very green in color
Yeah.
compared to other sables. Because sables can come in different shades, you know. We have a lot of very red sables.
Hmm.
They don't even look like sable. I don't know if we posted any of them on our profile, but I'm gonna show you just a couple of them. They're like if you see them, they're like phoenix red, but they're actually sable because they came from sable pairings. And I'm very curious to see them when they will be grown up in a couple of years.
Okay.
We kept like I don't know if we kept 3 or 4 of them. When it's time to choose the keepers, we just always keep too many of them.
Yeah.
Let's say
But you know what?
that's
Yeah, it's better to
just
keep too
one
many.
more. Yeah. Look, this one is sable actually.
Wow, that's very red for sable.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's really
she's
cool.
at for albino.
Okay, that's gonna be make some very very bright deep red sunburst and
Yeah,
uh,
that's the purpose.
yeah.
And with every shed, she gets more intense. The red, as we talked about the evolution of the sable gene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's nice.
Yeah, it's very interesting how the sable gene, especially when you have those polygenic or line breed traits,
Yeah,
after a few sheds, it they completely change. Um,
yeah,
that's one thing I've been saying lately is it's like maybe this year I'll wait one or two, like maybe two or three sheds to see what I want to let go and what I want to keep.
yeah.
Because that.
Because like with the super Arctic, you know that they're gonna be lighter,
Hmm.
but with sable, you don't actually know how they're gonna turn out.
Hmm.
I'm gonna show you also another cool animals that we got, but it's not easy to appreciate on the camera. I think
Hmm.
we have like a super conda Mai Tai on this
Okay.
side, and this one is a Super Conda Mai Tai albino.
Oh wow.
And you see them from like the chocolate tones that she has on the belly, and also from the face, and also because we hatched this year like Super Conda Mai Tai, we hatched like two of them, and we also hatched a lot of, few Super Conda Sambars, and this one is completely different.
Yeah.
But it's not
That
easy.
super the albino Mai Tai looks
Yeah,
very like cream color.
yeah,
Yeah,
It looks very nice.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like that. Those are
She's
really
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
And you don't see many of those either. I haven't seen
Uh, no, I
that I
think it's
can.
the only one in the world, the Super Conda Mai.
Yeah, but even albino Mai Tais, I don't see many people producing that stuff. I think, I mean, if I could be wrong, but you guys might be the only ones that actually produce it.
So one, no, two anaconda albino Mai Tai, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
two of them.
That's cool.
And
So how's it? Yeah, go ahead.
also we have a very nice, ma prendi un po' la Toffee Glow, quella rossa. A very nice Toffee Glow. She is very red, and that's why we kept her, because usually Toffee Glow is like hard to distinguish from a regular albino, but this one you see she both has Toffee belly and albino, and we were lucky because they originated from red lineages, and so she carried the red color. She looks like a very red albino, but you see that she has something like the color is deeper on this one, and that's, you notice that she also has Toffee belly inside. She's not only albino. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not easy to see on the camera.
but
Also from
the belly is a little more
chocolate, yeah,
purplish, yeah, color. You can see
and
where the
also
toffee belly's
the pupil
influence.
is not the one of a regular albino. And
Okay.
also this one, I don't know if it's easy. This is the Mai Tai albino anaconda. And it's not. I mean, these animals must be seen from live, because it's not easy. You see the belly on this one too. It's like the same of the Super Conda Mai Tai albino, but this one is anaconda.
That's cool.
They're also getting very different with they're changing color with every shed.
Yeah. With producing those triple recessives and all that stuff, how do you establish your breeding pairs? Like how many with that project, how many breeding pairs do you have?
Like for those triplets, we had 4 females last year.
4 females. Okay.
Yeah, and for the projects with the lavender albino sable, we had 6 females.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, when you have to work with 2 or 3 recessive and you have no visuals involved in the breeder animals, you always have to work with large numbers if you want to hope to get something interesting, in my opinion.
I agree.
Then what if you lose one male, or if you lose one female, or one female slugs for you that year, you lose the year. So it's better if you produce them yourself. It's better to keep more. Of course, if you have to buy, it's another choice. And this one is lavender sable anaconda. Also not that common, I think.
Yeah.
You see.
Yeah, those are really nice. And it's those lavender sables it brings out the lavender so much better with sable in it. It's very impressive to see, especially with the condas and super condas.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that sometimes lavenders, as they get older, just plain lavenders, start losing the lavender color?
I don't know, because actually our oldest lavender is like 2 years old.
Okay.
So I cannot tell you yet. I just noticed that corals, with aging, they start to look like snows sometimes.
Okay.
Even you have just to notice that the lavender and pinkish hues on the cheeks to know that they are
Cor-
corals,
corals.
and
Yeah,
sometimes it happens like that. Yeah.
that's interesting. I hatched out two Arctic corals and one coral this year. I kept the coral male and sold the Arctic coral male. I liked the coral more than the Arctic coral because you could see more of the hue.
Of the lavender shades.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I liked it a lot better. It looks very nice, and hopefully I'll put it to a super conda double head coral next year and stuff like that. Um,
Did you ever breed like uh, old males, or you always wait 2 years to breed them?
this year I have about year and a half old males. Um, I've thrown in like year old males to see if I get any success, and I haven't really. I feel like they're very they run a lot from the females and just go hide. So like a year and a half, 2 years is that what I've had so far. I've tried, with the year old males, um, and stuff like that, but I haven't had any real success with them yet. How about yourself?
We sometimes do and have success, but
Okay.
you have always to brumate them,
Mm-hmm.
always,
Mm-hmm.
especially for young males. And they I mean, if the females don't have to be that big if you want to try young males.
That's very true. Yeah, maybe try with a smaller female. That's
Yeah.
a good. That's a good point. Um, do you brewmate anything like your holdbacks? Do you brewmate them too, or you just keep
And in the first year, we don't
you do
brumate.
them with breeding?
Just
Okay.
if you want to try to breed some young males, we brumate the
Mm-hmm.
males.
Mm.
If not, for the first year, we skip the brumation period.
Okay. Any reason why, or is just your preference?
Just because we always do like that, and in Italy we always say you never change the horse who wins the run.
I hear that. Yeah. 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 I personally started brew mating last year. Everything that I'm holding back in my breeders and stuff like that. So far so good. We'll see. Next year will be the first year to have like males and females that have started brew mating from the first year breeding. So we'll see how the success goes. And but the growth, it growing is growing about, I'd say, about the same animals that were brew mating and didn't brew mate. You know. So it's interesting in that part.
I mean, it's good if you want to take some time off for you, for sure.
Yeah,
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 that's for sure. Yeah.
yeah. It was 2022. I didn't have babies, so that I produced for sale.
Mhm.
So I brewmated everything. So I had 2 months off,
Off.
and
Yeah,
that
that's good.
was that was very very cool. This year, that's not happening.
Cool,
Yeah.
but also a bit sad, no? Sometimes.
Yeah, so you would like count down the time, like, all right, it's almost time to bring them out. It's you get bored too, you know. The only thing that was good because we went away for 2 weeks with family and stuff like that for like the Christmas and New Year's, so we didn't have to feed anything for worry if anything. But even what I tell people with hognose, even 2 weeks being away is not that big of a deal. If you feed right before you leave and you do some maintenance, 2 weeks you can still get away with it. Um,
Yeah.
you know, and you're gonna have more work when you get back, but the animals are okay with 2 weeks. I wouldn't do any more than 2 weeks though. It's difficult. Um, have you ever had to like travel and stuff like that during like breeding season or during that breeding season stuff like that? You guys are
No,
locked
No.
in and that's
we
it.
are completely off.
One of us is always at home.
Okay.
Always.
When there are some snakes like laying, we also wake up in the night.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know they can eat their eggs. So
It
Yeah.
happened just once, like 2 years ago, and since then we always
You said
work.
never again. Yeah. Yeah. I had that first this year, the first time a female eating her eggs. She had just finished laying, and I went to check, and as soon as I was opening the bin, she was grabbing the egg. I tried to get it out of her, but she already had bitten out the egg and burst the egg. Luckily, knock on wood, I haven't had any real females that have eaten like a whole clutch or half the clutch. That would be sad to see, you
Yeah.
know, because you're expecting this year. What's your most like expected combo or pairing that you're looking forward to?
Super Arctic, Super Conda Sunburst.
Okay.
Uh,
Super Arctic, Super Conda, Coral.
Super Arctic, Super
We hope.
Conda Coral.
Okay.
Maybe Super Conda, Snowburst.
Snowburst. Oh, okay. Nice. Nice.
And I don't know, because we put young males on big females and we didn't see any luck, but those look gravid. If we had luck, like something with the Arctic related to my Thai genetics too.
Okay.
I'm not, I mean, I would say no. I
Yeah.
think they just, the females got, just kept the sperm from last year and they ovulated with that sperm again.
Yeah, and maybe you'll get a few good eggs and some slugs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, we just told you that the top we can reach, but of course all the genetics related below this
Yeah.
one.
Like other red sunburst, like some very nice red sables.
Hmm.
We opt from Cloud, some Cloud Conda, but we have to see.
Okay. So, you know, so you guys, we talked a little about your projects. If you have somebody coming to you for advice or that's thinking about going into professionally breeding Western hognose, would there
I think
be?
that the one of the most important things for us is for sure hygiene, because if you think that we have the snakes living all their entire lives in small cages,
Mm-hmm.
if a snake poop in the nature, then he go
Away from it? Yeah.
away from the poop,
Mm-hmm.
and they are always going around. So
Yeah.
one of our first aims is hygiene, mm, cleaning water bowls, but not just throwing water and filling it up again.
Mm-hmm.
But cleaning it well.
Yeah.
And for example, with the tubs for babies, that we're always cleaning them and changing them, because adults have their own box for all the season.
Yeah.
But for the babies, we always clean the tubs and then we put them in the wash dishes.
Wash dish for
Yeah.
like sterilizing at 80, 90 degrees Celsius
Mm.
for like
Yeah.
1 hour. Yeah.
This is for sure a good start point for breeding, I think, in our opinion.
I agree. Because in the hognose world, we talk about the crypto. We talked about
Yeah.
what's it called, coccidia, um, you know, uh, and other parasites and stuff like that. But I think the first line of doing the correct is keeping the animals clean, because what is all those diseases and parasites are related to um, the feces, right, and the dirtiness. So I think when people if they have outbreaks of that stuff, is because there's probably a lack of cleaning, and there's feces and bowel movements sitting in the animal's cage.
Yeah,
What do you
for
guys
sure.
think? You know, and I know the cryptosporidium is a very hot topic in the Western hognose world and other
Yeah.
colubrids too. Um, do you guys think that it's a thing that will kill an animal, or you think that there's recoveries from it? Have you guys done any
At the
studies?
animal, scientifically,
Hmm.
it will. I mean, there are some case report papers of animals, not hognose snakes, that
Hmm.
recovered from the cryptosporidium. But first of all, we have to consider that clinical recovery is not. I mean,
It's not a cure.
It's not a cure. It's like just curing the symptoms.
Hmm.
So the animal will basically potentially always be infective for your other animals,
Mm-hmm.
even if the animal looks healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And
As
That's
a,
true.
we recommend a quarantine of
at least
at least 3 months. If you can, if you don't need the animal, maybe 4 months or more,
even
it's
more.
okay. We basically forgot the animals on quarantine if we don't need them. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the rule.
Yeah. No, I agree. That that happens to us sometimes. Especially hatchlings and new animals I buy. I have in the other room quarantine, and I'll feed here and this and everything, and then after I'm done, maybe I'll go sit down. It's like, oh, I have to feed the quarantine animals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because they're so separate that something like you said, you forget that they're there. And like I love that 3 months, 4 months. Do you do testing or is just
yeah.
yeah,
watching?
yeah.
You do
We
testing.
do
Okay.
test PCR testing.
Okay.
When they are babies, we just you use stools,
Mm-hmm.
preferably from 3 or 4 consecutive
Mm-hmm.
stools,
Mm-hmm.
because the cryptosporidium elimination is not always constant in the feces.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in one feces you don't find, and in another yes. And
Mm-hmm.
if you have to talk about adult animals, the gold standard for testing is also the gastric lavage.
Mm-hmm.
You go with a small problem, and you have to be usually a vet does that
Yes,
practice.
correct. Yeah, and it's very invasive to the animal too. Um, you know, to
Yeah,
be
it's,
able
it's
to.
not it's not that invasive, but you must have to be used to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't
It's
do it at home, and I wouldn't recommend
mm,
anybody to do that. Yeah, yeah. Um, Now with cleanliness and stuff like that, what do you recommend or what do you guys use to generally like sanitize other than dishwasher? Use any chemicals, any specific solution?
for
You-
the just when we wash the tubs for the babies,
Mhm,
since we then use like the wash disher to sanitize them, our aim is to clean them,
mhm,
because 90% and more, let's say 90% of germs get eliminated with just the simple cleaning.
mhm.
I mean, medically, scientifically, if a surface is clean, is basically free of germs.
Gotcha.
So if our aim is to clean well, we just make a mixture of bleach and the dish soap.
Mhm.
We have a very large sink we fill with tubs, and we always try to remove as much as poop as possible, so the tubs are basically clean. You see them clean, and then we sanitize them in the dishwasher.
Yeah. So anything that the bleach and dish soap hasn't cleaned, it's being eradicated by the steam and the hot water.
For the tubs for the adults, we use F10. I don't know,
Mhm.
maybe in US it's
Yep.
common too, and we use steam that it's really effective.
At
Okay.
the end of the season, we always you know, I don't know if you have them in the US. It's Alurex,
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen those.
and they can get you can how do you say, they're easy to assemble and disassemble.
Disassemble. Okay.
Disassemble, and at the end of the season, we always disassemble of them, and we clean all the roofs, floors every season. It took
Okay.
a long time, but
Mhm.
I think that at least once every year you need to clean everything, because there are always small spots like under the top that stay with the dirt and things like that. And also we clean all the tubs with steam at the end of the season. Always. It's
That's
long, but
yeah.
we do that.
Yeah. That's a really
Especially
good
because
practice.
every year we're not gonna put the same animal in the same tub.
Mhm.
Maybe the next year we prefer to put all the like the Sambar's genetic close, and but during the same season we never move the animal from the spot where he's living.
Yeah. That's good. And then I don't want to keep you guys too long because I know it's late over there and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
one.
yeah, any last words, any last topic you guys wanted to talk about, or any project that you guys want to bring out to the public before we let you guys go tonight?
uh, Tipo, you can ask something because
Yeah. I mean, we talked about your genetics, your morphs and stuff like that. Um, and then any others. Well, you said the corn snakes are your next bigger species, right? Or
yeah,
you
Yeah,
come
yeah, yeah.
out and stuff like that. What's your high end like morph in the combo in there?
we hope to produce some micro scaleless palmetto this
Okay.
season. That's I think it is the most wanted morph at the moment,
Hmm.
and it's not so clear how micro scales act now because they're scaleless, micro scale, and micro scaleless. So it's something like codominant that we this season we will know more about how
Okay.
it works, and we are mainly working and focusing on hippo lavender stuff with scaleless
Mm-hmm.
that usually lavender have a lot of problem with inbreeding, so
Mm-hmm.
we produce our hat with micro scaleless too,
To mix the
and I
blood.
think it's a good start to produce some strong babies and a new line.
Okay.
And we also work with a lot with the palmetto gene
Mm-hmm.
in different combination, not just with like with caramel like Hannery palmetto, with albino palmetto, also scaleless palmetto, and I mean we're not doing so many projects with corn snakes,
Yeah.
but we're just focusing on a few projects, but with large numbers with the corn snakes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Because
Um.
if not, it's that much.
Yeah,
You see, this is a micro scaleless.
and
She has very very small scales on the body.
Okay. How's the belly scoots? How is it same regular size
Yeah,
or
regular size
yeah,
the
regular
belly. Yeah.
size? Okay, that's cool. See, I think I personally like that better than scaleless. The micro
Yeah,
scaleless is better than the scaleless to me.
yeah. They produce first the micro scale, and then they saw that if you breed like a micro scale to a scaleless, you get micro scaleless. It's like a combination of two.
Hmm.
It's like a micro scale with less scales. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Last season we produced some nice palmetto scales too, and
also.
we, she's she
That's
has
very
some
nice.
nice spots. Yeah,
And she also has beautiful eyes because many times it happened that like palmetto scales hatch with the big eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It's related to palmetto, but with palmetto scales it's even more evident because of the
Yeah.
lack of scales.
And her eyes aren't as big. You're saying
No, this one has nice eyes.
nice. Yeah.
we also produce areas from the last 3 years. Lamprophis aurora that is quite uncommon species.
Mm-hmm.
Aurora
Then
house snake, you know them?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
South African snake with a. Fa vedere uno.
yeah,
I'm
piccolino.
gonna show you a small one, but we are producing quite. I mean, we are like for three breeder females. It's not so common species. A lot of
Okay.
people like have one pair, and
Yeah, this is it.
a species we like a lot. Yeah, and it's very small and tiny, and they're quite tricky when you have to get them started to food.
Hmm.
Even more than Hognose snake. Yeah,
Really? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
guys you feed them fish and stuff like that to get them started?
No, we
No.
just at the first periods we just assist feeding them with tail mice, and then we start
Okay.
to try offering them like small pinky chomps,
Mm-hmm.
Some of them eat, some of them not. Usually after 1 year, they get started to food.
And that's what you say after 1 year. A lot
Yeah,
of people get very worried and very anxious 1 year an animal not eating. Like you said, you get the messages. My hog nose hasn't ate for 2 days. So it's what I tell everybody is patience, right? We're dealing with live things, live animals. We got to be patient. We got to study them and try to figure out each animal sometimes.
yeah,
Um,
and that's a lot of people don't understand that maybe a person usually eats like, let's say, 3 times every day.
mhm,
Then if you are sick or just not in the mood, you can, I mean, let's say that if you are not in the mood, you can skip 1 day eating.
mhm,
If a snake regularly eats, like, let's say in the wild, they eat sometimes they eat every month in the
mhm.
wild. So if in captivity they don't eat for a week or 10 days or 2 months, it's like a 1 day strike for a human being. So
Yeah,
people sometimes don't understand that.
it is. I agree. Well, guys, like I said, I'm not going to keep you too much longer. Thank you again for joining us tonight. All the way from Italy, taking your time and I know you guys had a long day and stuff like that, but again, thank you. Um, I want to thank everybody that was here commenting and enjoyed this podcast. We're probably gonna, we'll talk after this, but maybe get you a round two to talk about some of the other species that you're working with, like lizards and stuff like that later on. Maybe later on in the year and stuff like that. And maybe we'll see you guys in the U.S. here in the future,
Yeah.
right? That'll be cool to see, and especially like the animals you're showing, online to see in person will be a big difference. Um,
Yeah.
but again, thank you guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys next week. Stay here on the podcast. Um, Make sure you guys subscribe, like, hit the notification button to our channel, and we will see you guys next week. And thank you again.